Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Jane Reynolds.
In 1984, when I was about to turn 21, I met the young man who would eventually become my husband. We were both attending school, we were both still living at home, we were both photography majors. We spent every spare second we had together. We were getting to know each other and falling in love. In fact, two years later, in 1986, when I was 23 and he was 22, we got married in a very elaborate church wedding, orchestrated by our mothers mostly, complete with organist and choir. At that time, I did not want to have children. It was just not, I wasn't one of those little girls that played with baby dolls and imagined what they'd be like as a mother. It just wasn't something I imagined in my life. My husband, I think he was on board with it. I think in the back of his mind, he thought, I shall change her mind. And I was like, no way. I want freedom. I want adventure and excitement. And a child is not gonna, that won't work. So for the next few years, we lived the way we wanted to live. We traveled. We went to Rome and Paris. We went to Brussels and Amsterdam. We brought our cameras and documented all of our experiences together. I loved being with my husband. We had this little apartment on Wayne State campus, and we decorated it the way we wanted to, and we had this great group of friends that we saw pretty much every week for parties, dinners, game nights. We had each other, and I was fine with that for the next 7 years. And then I turned 30, and my mind and body got together and said, hey, you want to have a kid now. Okay. I told my husband, he was on board immediately. And as if she was waiting in the wings for us to make this decision, our daughter was conceived in the first month of trying. And those 9 months I was pregnant, it was a perfect pregnancy, everything was fine, and I was reassuring myself. I was saying, Jane, your life doesn't have to change. You can still have... Call me naive. You can still go on adventures and have excitement, and you can take this kid with you wherever you go, and it's gonna be fine. And you can go back to work if you want. My mom worked, I can work too. So September 1994, this baby is born. And of course, instantly, we're both in love with her. She's beautiful and curly hair, and she's gorgeous. And so I remember she was about a week old, and I was holding her and just gazing into those eyes, loving her so much, and I thought to myself, oh, this is for the rest of my life. like a sudden dawning on me that I was responsible for this little being. And till the day I died, it was gonna love her and care about her and worry about her. And wow, that was a huge revelation. What responsibility, oh my gosh, I'm not going back to work. I'm devoting every single moment to this baby because I have to. I have to be the best mom that ever walked the earth. I have to nurture her and care for her, and everything's gonna revolve around her. And it did. When she would wake up in the morning, we would plop on the floor. I'd turn on classical music because I read that helped develop their brain. And we'd sit on the floor and I'd sing to her, and I would read all the baby books to her, and I would make her food from scratch. And when she was taking a nap, I would read books like The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding and How to Raise Your Child's Self-Esteem. And I joined moms groups, and I would sit with these mothers, and we would plop our children on the floor and talk to each other about the children. What diaper are you using? How long were her teeth swollen before that tooth came in? Everything was about the children because I had to be mom and only mom, and that meant everything had to be about her. And we became this little family unit, mom, dad, baby. And I enjoyed it. I felt almost for the first time that I had such purpose, that I was building this child up, that I was creating a life for her that would set her on this foundation, and it was just so important to me. And we enjoyed it so much that we decided to do it 2 more times. We had another daughter, and then we had our son, and our family was complete. I had to really, really work on him for that last one, but I got him to come on. That time I was the one that wanted all the children, right? So, but as the years went on, and I was, so-and-so's mom and so-and-so's mom. I wasn't Jane anymore. I was somebody's mom. And I relished that role. I went on all the field trips. I did crafts with the kids and played games with the kids, and everything was about them. But I started to notice that I was getting very irritable a lot of the time. I was quick to anger. I was tired a lot for really no reason. And I started to just feel sad. And I started going to a therapist. I went on antidepressants. My husband was so supportive and caring during this time. He was a fantastic father, but he didn't know what to do to help me. I was very low because I had noticed that I wasn't a perfect mom. I yelled, I made mistakes, and this was the only thing I was doing, and I still couldn't be the best at it. And it really kicked me in the shins. I know low self-image. I used to have these morbid fantasies that I was driving my car and I would crash into another car on purpose so I could get arrested, tossed in jail, locked up somewhere, so I wouldn't be a burden to my family anymore, that they'd be better off without me. This is the place I was in. And during those years, I had met a woman in one of my mom's groups who I really clicked with her. She was very confident. She had this funny air about her. I really liked her. And she said, hey, I belong to this women's group, and we help other women to kind of empower themselves. And we're having an introductory meeting at my home, and you need to come. This is going to be good for you. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what you're going to do, but I trusted her. So I went to her house, and her whole living room was set up with all these chairs, and there were other women from our mom's group there. And then there were all these women that I didn't know, and they were all kind of looking at me and smiling. And in a kind way, but I was also kind of like, whoa, all right, what is this? So we're sitting in this circle, and we have to introduce ourselves. It comes, blah, 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 we're going down. Comes to me, no words, just huge sobs, tears. My eyes were watering, my nose was running into my mouth, and I'm just muttering, I don't do this. I don't cry. I don't talk about my feelings in front of people. This isn't me. And one of the women who was kind of the leader of this group, she was sitting a few people away from me, and she looked at me and she said, Jane, those tears mean something's trying to get out. Those tears mean something needs to get out. And I was like, whatever. So I was driving home that night, and I was like, cannot wait to get away from this group because they want me to share my feelings, and there is no way I'm going to do that. No way. So in the meantime, my friend also was familiar with another group that was doing work for young women, young teenage girls. And my oldest daughter happened to be 15 at the time, and I thought, ooh, how cool that she can do this work with, while she's young, and it can help build her confidence. And so I asked my daughter if she would do it. She reluctantly said yes, and then I got a phone call from the leader of the women's group a few days later. Hey, Jane, I hear your daughter's going to do the maiden work. Yeah, I'm so excited for her. Like, what an opportunity. I wish I'd done this when I was her age. And there's kind of silence on the other end. Then I hear this, it's interesting to me that you would let your daughter go into the unknown, but you're not willing to do it for yourself. Boom. She knew right where to get me. Because if anything, I was a good mom. So I had to do it because I was a good mom. Forget about doing it for me, but I had to prove that I was a good mom. So, all right, fine, I'll do this 9-month journey, whatever, And so March of 2010, I go into this room with all these other women. There's about 10 or 11 women who are doing it with me, and then the facilitators. And there's a lot of sharing, a lot of feelings, a lot of stuff. And for the first few sessions, I was kind of like, listening, taking it in, not doing much sharing, but listening. And as the months progressed, something started to shift in me. Something started to unearth and reappear. And that was Jane. Who was Jane what happened to Jane when Mom took over? Where did she go? And I started to dig deeper and deeper and find out that I had passions that didn't involve my children. I had dreams that didn't involve my children. And that was okay. That was good. That was something that made me happy. And throughout this work, I started to have love and compassion for myself. I started to have love and compassion for others because I had it for myself again. And my 9 months finished, and I loved this work, and I said, wow, I found my circle. I found my sisters. I found myself. And I loved it so much, and I believed so much in this work that in 2012, I stepped into it as facilitator. And so every year, new women step into their own 9-month journey. And as they step in, I look into their eyes, and I see a yearning and a curiosity and excitement and fear. There's always a lot of fear, like, oh, what am I doing here? And I get to witness them unearthing themselves. I get to witness them finding who they are, who they've always been. It's such an honor to see that and to know that when I started this work, I was so closed off. I was so small and so quiet because I thought I had to be one thing to be good at it. And as the years have gone by and I've just gotten more and more into who I am, I realized I can be so many things, so many things. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an artist, I'm a creator, I'm a woman. I am Jane again, and I love being Jane again.
Jane Reynolds.